There exists a single angel whom even Michael and Lucifer feared. Unlike others, he did not engage in combat or deliver messages. Instead, he concluded lives quietly without notice. His arrival signified only one thing: your time had ended. Known as Azrael, the angel of death, some believed he could extract the soul with just a whisper. Others said that as soon as he appeared, the soul recognized its moment had come. When Azrael showed up, even the mightiest angels would step back. Today, we share the tale of the most terrifying angel ever to exist. Welcome. If you see Azrael as a mysterious and powerful angel, please leave comment number 1 to share your thoughts. If you feel this figure is both terrifying and enigmatic, comment number 2 below. In ancient times, before time itself was measured, and before humans existed on Earth, death did not exist. The world was incomplete. Life had not yet begun, so the concept of life's end was absent from creation. Everything shifted due to a single decision. Initially, the first man, Adam, was made and placed in an immaculate garden called Eden, a place full of peace and free from suffering. This was a divine gift. However, when Adam and Eve defied God by eating from the forbidden tree, they introduced sin into the world. Alongside sin came a consequence previously unknown: death. From that point onward, death became a part of human existence. Humans would no longer be immortal. Instead, they would be born, age, and ultimately die. Since death was now integrated into the world, a being was needed to oversee this new stage of human life. However, this responsibility could not be entrusted to just any angel. Among the heavenly hosts were warriors such as Michael, messengers like Gabriel, and angels assigned to various special roles. Each had a distinct duty. Yet the role of bringing death-ending life and guiding souls to the afterlife was unique. It demanded courage, obedience, and a rare kind of strength, the strength to do what others would refuse. God issued a command. He told his angels to descend to earth and gather the dust from which Adam would be formed. This dust would become the first human body, the vessel for a soul. One after another, the archangels attempted the task. Some traditions claim Michael tried but was stopped by the earth itself, which pleaded for its soil to remain. Others say Gabriel came close but, moved by compassion, left the earth untouched. Each time the angel returned to God empty-handed, unwilling or unable to take the dust. Finally, God sent Azrael. At that moment, Azrael was not yet known as the angel of death. He was merely another angel, loyal, obedient, and silent. However, when tasked, Azrael journeyed to earth and did what the others would not. He collected the dust despite the earth's sorrowful pleas and tears begging to be spared. Some tales say Azrael spoke to the earth, promising that the dust would eventually be returned. Others say he remained silent. What truly mattered was that he succeeded in his mission and brought the dust back to God. This single deed changed everything. Azrael demonstrated what none of the others could. He could fulfill the hardest duty promptly, without complaint, and without allowing emotions to interfere. Because of this, God entrusted him with a unique responsibility. Azrael was to oversee both the beginning and the end, guiding souls from their creation until their final moments in the body, then escorting them beyond. What do you think about only Azrael being brave enough to carry out the mission of gathering the first human dust? Comment number 1 if you admire this courage, or if you think the task was too heavy for anyone else, and this shows the burden Azrael bore. Comment number 2. From then on, Azrael was no longer merely an angel. He was Malak al-Maut, the angel of death. His success in gathering the earth's dust showed that only he could bear the burden of death. It wasn't due to weakness in other angels, but because the task was too heavy for any to handle. The name Azrael, which means help of God in Hebrew, became inseparably tied to this role, assisting souls in crossing from this life to the next. Thus, Azrael is recognized throughout Islamic and Jewish beliefs as the angel of death, but his duties go far beyond simply ending life. His primary role is to separate the soul from the body at the destined moment of death. However, collecting souls is only part of Azrael's duties. Both sacred scriptures and oral traditions portray him as a psychopomp, a guide who escorts souls from the physical realm into the afterlife. He does more than sever the bond between body and soul. He ensures that the soul progresses beyond this life toward what lies ahead. This passage may lead to peace, reward, or judgment, but Azrael's responsibility is to initiate the journey. He is the one who opens the doorway to what comes next. Many traditions say Azrael carries a divine scroll, or records sometimes called a book that contains the names of every human being. At birth, a name is written in this record. Upon death, the name is removed. This scroll symbolizes Azrael's constant knowledge of all living individuals. He acts not out of emotion or personal choice, but waits until the scroll signals the appointed time. This detail highlights that Azrael's role is closely tied to fate. He does not appear at random, nor decide who dies or when. He only acts under God's command. This obedience defines Azrael's nature. Unlike Lucifer, the rebellious angel, or Michael the warrior, who fights on God's behalf, Azrael is utterly obedient. He never acts independently, but fulfills a specific role that only activates when divine will demands it. Despite this lack of autonomy, Azrael's influence surpasses that of any other angel. While other angels might protect individuals, deliver messages, or fight in particular places or times, Azrael's duty encompasses every living person on earth. Regardless of one's location, language, or faith, every soul ultimately passes under Azrael's care. Since ancient times until now, from the highest peaks to the deepest urban centers, Azrael's duty continues without pause. This alone distinguishes him from other angels. Another intriguing aspect of his role is that he does not always manifest himself personally. Many traditions hold that Azrael frequently dispatches subordinate angels to perform his tasks. These helpers, often called angels of death, operate under his command and participate in gathering souls. Their demeanor may be gentle or fearsome, depending on the deceased's life and the fate awaiting them. This arrangement reveals an important truth. Azrael is not merely a servant, but a leader. He oversees a whole network of spiritual entities who assist him in preserving balance throughout the world. In certain interpretations, these subordinate angels bear greater responsibility during times of war, catastrophe, or mass death, when Azrael's influence must rapidly span many lives. At other times, Azrael may appear himself particularly to saints, prophets, or individuals whose lives held special significance. While many fear him, others regard him as an essential element of existence. Without Azrael, there would be no conclusion. Without conclusion, no new beginning. His duty exists solely to ensure that the grand cycle proceeds as intended. Azrael was entrusted with one of the most crucial duties in all creation, guiding every soul from life to death. To fulfill this role, he required more than mere obedience. He needed a power unmatched by any other angel. Ancient texts affirm this. Descriptions of Azrael's true form far exceed typical angelic portrayals. Various Islamic sources depict him as so vast and overwhelming that he cannot be likened to a human shape. He is said to possess 4 faces, each gazing in a different direction, north, south, east, and west, signifying his constant vigilance and awareness of events worldwide. Yet these faces are only the beginning. Azrael is further described as possessing 4,000 wings, not like the delicate feathered wings often depicted on angels as radiant humans. His wings reportedly extend across different realms. Some wings symbolize grace linked to peace, mercy, and guiding righteous souls. Others represent punishment and are fearsome in appearance and purpose. These wings are said to be composed of iron rods, sharp hooks, and heavy scissors designed to cut and tear. Reserved for souls tainted by sin, these wings embody a harsher aspect of death, one that inspires fear rather than comfort. Regarding his size, some Islamic scholars like Ibn Jafar al-Wajj and other classical commentators describe Azrael as having 70,000 feet or limbs. Each limb is believed to serve a specific function tied to his capacity to engage with innumerable souls at once. These vast numbers help explain how a single entity can fulfill his duty over every nation, people, and individual. His form transcends human comprehension, which is fitting, given that his responsibility covers the entire earth. Perhaps the most extraordinary and eerie feature is that Azrael's body is said to be completely covered with eyes and tongues. Every eye and tongue corresponds to a living soul on earth. This means Azrael's very form mirrors the world's population at any moment. His eyes observe each individual, and his tongues represent the voice or presence of every life. The unsettling part is that when someone dies, one of these eyes or tongues disappears, vanishing from his form to indicate that the life it symbolized has ended. In many traditions, Azrael's appearance is not constant. It changes in accordance with the number of living souls on the planet. His body is synchronized with human existence itself. Does the image of Azrael with thousands of eyes and tongues make you feel both awe and chill? Comment number 1 to share your feelings, or do you see this as a symbol of his overwhelming power and incomprehensible nature? Then comment number 2. In certain traditions, Azrael is depicted wielding a flaming whip, a potent symbol of divine authority and power. This weapon serves not only as a means to command other spiritual entities, but also to carry out the will of God with absolute authority. Another striking portrayal describes how the entire earth appears to Azrael as no larger than a small bowl held in his hand. Some scholars have likened this size to that of a dish or a miniature vessel. This imagery conveys that Azrael is capable of reaching any place instantaneously. For him, concepts like distance, borders, or time hold no significance whatsoever. The essential point is clear: Azrael neither needs to travel nor search. He is already fully aware of the location of every individual and can access them effortlessly at any moment. To grasp the enormity of Azrael's power, some narratives delve even deeper. Within Islamic theology, there exists a class of angels called the bearers of the throne, regarded as the largest and most formidable beings created. Their sole function is to uphold God's throne, and their immense size is often described in nearly cosmic proportions. Yet intriguingly, some scholars argue that even these colossal angels are dwarfed by Azrael himself. This revelation offers a crucial insight: Azrael's fearsome nature does not stem from cruelty or malevolence. Rather, it arises from his very essence and being. This moment marks the beginning of our understanding as to why mighty figures such as Michael and Lucifer would feel fear toward Azrael, not because he opposed them, but because he existed beyond their reach and comprehension. Unlike typical angels, Azrael's appearance is not fixed. It varies according to the life the individual has lived and the condition of their soul at the moment of death. This distinction sets him apart from angels who perform predetermined duties in predetermined manners. Azrael's purpose is intimately tied to the soul itself, its purity, its sorrows, and its preparedness. The way he manifests is deeply subjective, shaped by the perception of the person encountering him. People who have led virtuous lives, such as saints, prophets, and deeply devoted believers, perceive Azrael as a symbol of peace. To them, he is neither dark nor menacing. Instead, he presents himself in a gentle and compassionate form, often portrayed as beautiful, serene, or even glowing with a soft, radiant light. During these encounters, Azrael's presence is a source of solace, providing the soul with the necessary time to comprehend the transition occurring while accompanying it with kindness and care. Some traditions depict this meeting as enveloped in warmth and brilliance, as if the soul is being welcomed by a loving and trusted guardian. According to tales passed down through generations, the prophet Muhammad and Moses were personally met by Azrael himself, rather than one of his subordinate angels. In both instances, Azrael extended a respectful and gentle invitation to depart from this world. However, this compassionate reception is not universal. Souls burdened by cruelty, deceit, or rebellion within are confronted by a markedly different manifestation of Azrael. Instead of peace, he arrives with overwhelming force and intensity. His form reflects the deepest fears of the soul, often described as heavy, cold, and terrifying. Various traditions hold that such souls experience their essence being violently torn away, rather than tenderly lifted. These final moments lack any comfort, only filled with dread, remorse, and suffering. This duality in Azrael's nature is intentional and integral to his role. He mirrors the true essence of the individual's life back to them. Essentially, the soul reaps exactly what it has sown in its worldly existence. This concept is most vividly articulated within Sufi philosophy, a branch of Islamic mysticism that centers on the spiritual evolution of the individual soul. Sufi spiritual teachers elucidate that Azrael manifests in a form that corresponds directly to the soul's deepest condition at the moment of death. When the soul is calm and serene, Azrael appears as an embodiment of peace. Conversely, if the soul harbors fear or resistance, his form reflects that inner turmoil. Notably, Azrael's appearances are not limited strictly to death's moment. Numerous accounts describe Azrael visiting individuals in dreams or visions, particularly when their end draws near. These nocturnal encounters often serve as warnings, gentle reminders, or spiritual messages aimed at preparing the soul for its impending transition. Sometimes these visions bring tranquility, while at other times they act as urgent wake-up calls. A notable example involves Rumi, the renowned Sufi poet and spiritual guide. Tradition holds that as Rumi approached the end of his life, he encountered Azrael appearing in a human guise. This encounter was marked not by terror, but by profound peace. Rumi met this moment with calm acceptance, fully aware that his time had arrived. Similarly, Nasir Khusraw, a Persian poet and philosopher, recorded a dream in which he saw Azrael, who informed him that his departure was imminent. This vision allowed Nasir Khusraw to meditate, pray, and ready his spirit for the journey ahead. In such narratives, Azrael functions as a messenger of transformation, guiding souls through the passage to their next phase of existence. If you continue to question why Azrael instilled fear, even in the mightiest of angels, the reason grows clearer upon grasping the true significance of his presence. Each appearance of Azrael signified an ending. This was not limited to human lives, but extended to angels too. Ancient tales recount a profound instinctive silence, sweeping across the heavens whenever Azrael approached. Angels engaged in song combat or service would halt in reverence at his passing. Gabriel was the messenger, Michael the warrior leading battles, Israfil, the herald poised to blow the final trumpet. Yet Azrael's purpose was unique and distinct. He did not come bearing warnings or ultimatums. He came with absolute finality. Even the mightiest celestial beings would yield before him. Some traditions assert that by God's command, Azrael could claim the soul of any creature, even an angel. Hence his role transcended time conflict and divine revelation alike. Azrael's place was not within tales of warfare or prophecy. Rather, he belonged solely to the concluding chapter of existence. According to one narration, even the bearers of God's throne angels, renowned for their colossal size and commanding authority, lowered their eyes in deference when Azrael appeared within the divine realm. His power did not derive from rank or hierarchy, but from the unique role he fulfilled. Azrael embodied the final conclusion of every decree, every assignment, and every life. He operated independently, never crossing paths with warriors or messengers. He was the ultimate destination on the sacred journey, and once he came, no cries, no might, and no pleas could alter what was to follow. This explains why even the archangels, mighty, radiant, and chosen, held Azrael's silence in profound respect, for his silence signified the end of the story. Yet a question arises, are Azrael and death one and the same, or are they separate entities? In numerous traditions, death is viewed not merely as an event, but as a distinct being fashioned by God, similarly to the angels. Some ancient Islamic narrations describe death as a unique creation separate from Azrael. Death was not merely a process, but possessed its own form, weight, and palpable presence. When God brought death into existence, he revealed it before the angels. The sight proved so overwhelming that every angel who witnessed death fainted for a millennium. This reaction underscores just how formidable death truly is. Even the mightiest celestial beings could not endure its presence. This fact alone offers a significant clue. If even angels faltered before death, what kind of being could possibly wield authority over it? The critical moment when God entrusted Azrael with command over death reveals that Azrael was not born from death but placed above it. Whereas other angels govern elements like light, sound, and fire, Azrael bears something infinitely more absolute, the very threshold that separates life from what lies beyond. In various traditions, scholars and mystics interpret this by asserting that Azrael did not merely deliver death, he embodied it. Rather than following death, death follows him. This concept gains even greater significance within eschatological narratives concerning the end of time. After Judgment Day, when every soul has been assessed and the realms of paradise and hell have been distinctly separated, one final act remains. Hadith traditions state that God will take death itself, transformed into the form of a ram, and place it between heaven and hell. Then before all creation, God will slay this ram. At that moment, death itself will cease to exist, marking the conclusion of Azrael's mission as well. This event signifies the ultimate transformation. Azrael, who once stood at the threshold of every life, will have fulfilled the entire cycle. His task will be complete, and eternity will commence. Perhaps then Azrael was not merely a servant of death, but death itself molded by divine decree. Given all this, it is understandable why many today link Azrael with the figure of the Grim Reaper. However, unlike the Grim Reaper often depicted as a cold, terrifying entity, Azrael's origins present him as a figure both respected and feared. His duty is to execute God's will, not to pass personal judgment. The name Azrael also emerges in literature, poetry, and popular culture. Over the centuries, his identity as the angel of death has inspired countless writers, philosophers, and artists worldwide, particularly in Western culture. In the 19th century, American poet Henry Wadsworth Longfellow portrayed Azrael as a gentle collector of souls, imbuing his presence with solemnity and serenity. Similarly, Leigh Hunt's poem The Reaper and the Flowers depicts Azrael as a quiet black-clad figure who arrives not to inflict harm, but to offer guidance. British author G.K. Chesterton also referenced Azrael in his poetry, describing him as a formidable force summoned during intense spiritual struggles. These literary references emphasize Azrael's enduring significance beyond his original religious origins. Over time, the name Azrael has grown increasingly recognizable among the general populace. For instance, in the 1980s animated series The Smurfs, the villain Gargamel's cat was named Azrael, a subtle nod to the angel's profound resonance within cultural memory. Even in such a playful context, the name evokes connections to the mysterious, the dark, and the unavoidable. This elevates Azrael beyond mere symbolism. He transcends being just a shadow or a myth. He emerges as a figure bridging the realms of life and death, faith and folklore, dread and reassurance. Now that you have learned Azrael's story, how do you perceive him? Is he a shadowy figure to be feared, or a gentle guardian who escorts souls through life's final passage? Share your thoughts with us in the comments below. After hearing Azrael's story, do you view him as a peaceful guide for souls? Comment number 1 to express your view. Or do you see him as a fearsome figure symbolizing the final end? Comment number 2 and share your perspective. If you found this story engaging, please give the video a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel. Up next, watch our film on Lucifer the angel who became the devil. Keep an open mind, and until we meet again, take care.